Good evening, everyone, to another episode of Dan Does Data. Tonight, a very special episode introducing Keras 2.0. So Keras, you might know, is this machine learning library that I've been using quite a bit. It generally sits on top of Theano or TensorFlow, and just today, I think 4 hours ago, maybe less than that, the author of Keras, released Keras 2.0. So a major update. He changed a lot of things. And sort of like switching to Python 2 to Python 3, certain things are going to be breaking. But I suspect it will not be quite so fracturing to the community. So I wanted to take today and just see what changed, see what's new, see how much of my code is totally broken now, which is probably mostly my fault. So if you go to blog.keras.io up here, you can see what all the new changes are. And he's got some different stats. The biggest thing that he's touting anyway is that Keras is being directly integrated into TensorFlow. TensorFlow being one of the most popular machine learning libraries out there. Is my highlight color weird? Oh well. But that's not until TensorFlow 1.2, which 1.0 just came out like a month ago, so I don't think that'll be in the immediate future. Probably a couple months down the line is my guess. But he's still going to have a version that's sort of standalone and that works with Theano, which is good for me because that's what I like to use on my super old hardware. But there'll be sort of two concurrent code bases, which that sounds like a nightmare, but I trust that Francois has his head on straight and knows what he's doing. So that'll be interesting to see. And he also mentions that Keras is more of an API specification than a specific code base. And so there's going to be more versions of it coming out, written in different specs. So there's one for Scala, there's one for JavaScript, so that'll be interesting. And if I understand correctly, that means that he'll be, you can use Keras to access Theano TensorFlow from those. Okay, cool. And we already have some people in chat. Well, I'll wave to all the people. Thanks. Question, do they have the new pooling there from his paper? I don't know which paper that's describing. They might. I would not be surprised. Well, let's see. There's some API changes. These are the things that are gonna burn me as I'm trying to use the layers. API of most layers has changed significantly, in particular dense. I missed that earlier, and batch normalization. So batch normalization is a hot thing. You sort of take all the output values of a particular layer and renormalize them all to be 0 to 1. That's a common thing to do. So I'm curious how the API for that changed. And dense, probably the most common type of layer. Take all your inputs to the layer and take a weighted sum of each of those for each one of your outputs. So if the API for that changed, that could be a little irritating. And all convolutional layers, same thing. However, we have set up compatibility interfaces, so your Keras 1 code will still run in Keras 2 without issues, while printing warnings to help you convert your layer calls to the new API. So that's good. I'm super happy about that. Cool. And what else we got? The API of generator training evaluation has changed. So fit generator, predict generator, and evaluate generator. So if you didn't want to just get a list or array of your outputs, and you just want to have it as a Python generator object to only generate those values as you call them. All right, not a problem. This is one that's going to burn me, however. When you just fit your model and train it, what used to be number epochs, NB epoch, is now just epochs. It's good that I like that name change, but that's gonna kill me, I'm sure. The saved weights format for many layers has changed. That's interesting. But if you save to the Keras 1, you can still load as Keras 2, so that's fine. And the objectives module, which I don't think I've used much, has been renamed losses. No, I feel like I must have. I must have used it. All right, you know what? Let's just update it and see how many things are broken. Note from the chat. Someone says, it's useful to try TensorFlow as the backend, if only for TensorBoard. I still haven't gotten TensorBoard working. I tried it a couple months ago. I might try it again in the future. I've had very bad luck with TensorBoard. All right, so we're going to pip3 install Keras -- update, breaking all my old Keras stuff. Let's see how bad this is. It should have been pushed to PyPy. No option. Update. Upgrade. Silly me. Upgrade. There we go. Zoom. Downloading stuff. Okay, we're making it happen. I love the future where I can just download packages willy-nilly. Download 100 megabytes without thinking about it. Oh, future's great. More stuff? I didn't even see what that was. What's going on? Setup tools, protobuf. Found existing installation TensorFlow. Uh-oh. I might have to fiddle or futz around if whether it's using TensorFlow or Theano as the backend. We're going to find out about that. I do have successfully uninstalled TensorFlow 1.0. Interesting. Oh, because there's 1.1 now. Alright, well, we'll figure that out. So I've got IPython open right here. Let's just import Keras. Let's see what happens. See if it breaks in my face. Using Theano backend. Okay, so that's fine. Note from the chat, the depth-wise separable pooling layer in his paper. Huh. It's a convolutional layer that convolves separately on the red, green, blue channels. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. In fact, when I was first learning convolutional stuff, it was never clear to me whether you were going across channels to begin with. That's not crazy. So I see how you can easily do that by just doing a functional model and treating each channel as a separate input, but it makes sense that you do this, that you'd have a layer that can just do that for you. Okay, so it still imports. That's good. This is some old code I have from my old font recognition work. But do I want to actually do this? No. Yeah, I do. I do. I wasn't sure. We'll try that. So first we just got to read in some data, and I will show what this data is in just a second. And I will turn on auto indenting so things don't break. That's not Keras' fault, that's my fault. This shouldn't take long, just a few seconds. Yep. So I've got data that is a bunch of words of Shakespeare that have been rendered in 16 by 64 image sets. And I've rendered it each in 5 fonts, and so each line gets rendered 5 times in a sense. And so this is some line of some Shakespeare, I think it's one of his sonnets. And so these blue values are of course 0, and the darker the pixels are, the more like red it looks. If you plotted this grayscale, you can see the same kind of thing going on. And actually, I want to copy into var data in .k2. There we go. Var data. So I don't want to muck around with my existing. There we go. So that's something new. Split some data into training and validation. That's all good. This shouldn't take too long. Okay. Got all my jazz. Let's get this data ready. Oh, almost there. So, yeah, and if you want to try yourself, you can pip install Keras -- upgrade, not update. Important note about pip. So let's see what the first thing that gives me warnings are. So this is where we actually start building a Keras model. The goal here is, given a particular image, can you predict what those fonts are? So given, where is it? All right, fine. Given a particular image, can you tell me what font that it came from? And so this is sort of somewhat of an image recognition problem, but you're not trying to recognize the specific letter, and one font will have lots of different letters, so you're going to try to look for various things. So I'm curious what will change in the layers and things like that. Nothing different here so far. You know what, let me actually... Version equals 2.0. Okay, I just wanted to double check that I was in fact using the latest version, which has been pushed to PyPy already. It's fantastic. What's model? Do I still model that summary? I do, and I haven't added anything to it. Okay, so dense layer changed. So what changed with dense layer? Let's find out. Let's see how much it yells at me, and that'll sort of be the metric for how easy it's going to be for me to change. I didn't yell at me at all. Interesting. I could have sworn that was going to yell at me. Dense implements. Oh, I see, I see. The things that changed about it are now it's kernel initializer, kernel regularizer, instead of, was it W initializer, like weight initializer and weight regularizer. That's the big thing that changed, which isn't a big deal. Okay. And I think there's another, like kernel constraint activity regularizer, same kind of thing. Bias constraint, bias initializer. So you're typically get generated in a more or less uniform random way, and your bias gets zeroed out because that's just easier. All right, what changed about activation? Anything? Anything? Self activation keyword arguments, name of activation function to use, or alternatively a Theano or TensorFlow operation. I did not know you could do that. Maybe that's new. That you can just pass in an arbitrary operation from one of your backends. Neat. Input shape. So as to the question of if the depthwise separable convolution is in there, I think the answer is to look in keras.layers.convolutional and see what you got, right? Because you definitely got regular convolution 2D at Trois. I'm not familiar with this. Maybe it's this. Cropping, decoms 2. That's cool. I'll tell you what. Tell me about this. Really wish there was some. Is this itself? Wish there was a little more information about this. From layers, import con2d. Dilate. Warnings. Oh, this layer has been deprecated. Please use con2d instead. Alright, never mind. So it's not that. Let's just see what's in con2d, shall we? 2d. Convolution kernel has evolved, and again, yeah, so bias regularizer. So the regularizers have different names, which is not a big deal. Using this layer as the first layer to model, yada yada yada. Kernel size, nothing too fancy. And I got my activation in there, dense activation. So we're just making a simple one layer neural net with 4 nodes in its hidden layer to compute 5 output scores. Each one of those together you put through the softmax function to convert each into a probability. Now I thought model.compile was going to change on me, but apparently not. I could have sworn all these things were changing. That optimizers is being renamed losses. See objectives. Maybe it wasn't optimizers. The objectives module has been renamed losses. I see. So keras.objectives doesn't even exist anymore. Keras.losses does. And keras.losses and you can see what your various options are. Like sparse categorical cross entropy, squared hinge apparently, called like Liebler divergence, all kinds of fancy stuff. Mean squared error. Hey, what do you know? Mean absolute error. Fancy business. Okay, so that's just a change, like a name change. I tend to specify mine by string anyway, so that doesn't hurt me. That's cool though. I don't know which of these is actually new. That's something that we can certainly... Is there a way to see... Just do the diff maybe? Integration... So I'm at his GitHub page, and actually, maybe I can just look at a changelog. That's what I need, like a changelog. Maybe there's one. Issues, pull requests, commits. Minor change in docstring, update the docs. Merge branch in. Fix learning phase, merge branch, yada yada yada. Add some files, merge. Let me change the log. Let me see. Keras change log. Releases. Oh, hey. 2.0. Well, that's super cool. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know GitHub had this information. Alright, but That doesn't really tell me what I'm looking for. Alright, well, whatever. We'll find out. So we compiled the model, and by compile, that really just tells Keras what to do with it, but it doesn't compile it down just yet. Let's see if we can just train. Okay, we got a warning. Oh, okay, but it still ran. Love that. I love America. That's so good. I'm super glad that it's deprecated, and it warns you, but it doesn't break right now. So, I can just say epics. NB epic argument, and fit has been renamed epics. Okay, so this will start training. Things will happen. Life will be good. I was glad when TensorFlow did the same kind of thing, where it would warn you about API things that changed. Especially with machine learning libraries, they are changing all the time. There's new ones coming out every quarter, so it's very easy to like lose track of where you are in an API. And like if you take a sabbatical and you're gone for 6 months, it can feel like you've got to restart from the ground up. So it's very good. I'm very, very happy that there's these warnings in here. It'd be very easy to just not have them at all and just change the API, and I would understand. But that really makes life good for a lot of us. Our validation accuracy is already getting worse. Interesting. All right. Can I wait another 30 seconds to let this last one finish? Can I? I don't think I can. I think I'm too impatient. But I do want it to finish this epic. There we go. Boom, interrupt. I'm a bad person. So I think, yeah, so it's, how does it save weights? These are saved in a different format. What kind of format is that? Dumps all into an HDF5 file. Is that how it was before? I don't remember. I think it is. I think that's true. So let's do a little bit of plotting. Let's take a look at these weights, just to be silly. So these, because this is just a purely dense neural network, we get a weight for each pixel for each interior node. So these are our input weights. And so you can see that this feature is keen on something in the middle here, like a very nice narrow band. And this one is a little more spread out. This one, it's kind of got some a line here and a line here. And this one's still kind of random. Doesn't know what to do with it. Again, just to try something again. The goal is recognize fonts, so it makes sense that you're kind of trying to find global scale features like this. But that's not really what you want, of course. Let's, how does it make predictions? Has that changed? Let's see what we got here. So we'll make some prompts, make some predictions, make a confusion matrix. I will predict on the testing set some actual probabilities, and what I want to do is use those predictions to see what is the Akaike information criterion, which is based on the number of parameters. And so the idea is you punish your model for having more parameters, because you can always just add more parameters and get a model that's a better fit, but you're sort of just overfitting in a sense. And that's you need to make sure it's worth it, that you're getting more predictive power than sort of you're spending in a sense. In my experience, this is, what is num_param here? It's going to be like 4096 or something. Yeah, it tends to be dominated by the number of parameters, which I always find a little strange. I think maybe I need to be, I might not be doing this right. I might be a little confused. I might not be accounting for the number of data points that I'm doing. Metrics.log loss function. So I might need to make this like average log loss or something, which would make it even smaller. Well, that's the nature of the beast. But if you wanted to look at the confusion matrix and you want to do p-color, look at that as a picture, you can do that. And so you can see, wow, This class is never predicted. Or, yeah. Well, that's strange. So this model is terrible. And it should feel terrible. But it still works in Keras too. I didn't have to change any code. It yelled at me when it was appropriate to yell at me. Let's try another model that's just convolutional. Aha! Something is changing. Update your conv2d call to the Keras. Okay, what do we need to change here? First of all, you don't spell out convolution 2d anymore. Alright, so conv2d. And then what was num filters x size, y size is now num filters x size, y size. I think. And input shapes should be the same. Call to the Keras 2 API plus signature. Dict keys are now deprecated. Really? Dict keys filter dilation? I don't do that. What? Nano backend.py. Okay, what is this? In tensor.nn.abstract.com.2d interface and will be ignored. I think this is just generally warning me. It might throw this warning. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. It might throw this warning anytime that you do something non-standard and not give you specific information about what non-standard thing you're doing. Because I don't think I'm doing this. I mean, unless it's border mode. Let's find out. Padding. Dilation rate. Border mode not an option anymore? Oh, border mode is now padding, isn't it? One not valid or same. Yes. Okay, so it's no longer called border mode. It's now called padding. And again, that's similar to TensorFlow. Con2d is not defined because I didn't actually import that. Let me come back up here and do that. I'm surprised it didn't yell at me when I went to import that it said, hey, we're switching to com2d. That would have been nice, but that's a very small issue, given that I could still use convolution 2d. So still saying are now deprecated, interface will be ignored. So it does tell you what specifically is changed. But I don't know what this... I feel like I'm not doing this. Filter dilation. Is it just a general warning? Based on Theano? Dict keys, filter dilation. I mean, I remember reading something in here. I thought there was something over here. Filter. Ah, come on. Oh well. I could have sworn there was something that described that change. Oh well. Maybe there's not. That's fine. So it works. It yells at me a little bit, but that's fine. Will be ignored. I guess that's okay. I'm not going to get bent out of shape about that. Activation is the same. Same max pooling. Got unexpected keyword WS. Alright, so this is strange. So how do I use max pooling now? Self pool size equals strides. Padding. Padding is now valid by default, which makes sense, yes. So I don't know why this would be complaining. The downscale, strides. None of this stuff is necessary. Huh. Padding, data format. I mean, is it like in the wrong, is it thinking I'm in TensorFlow data format? Channels last, channels first. Well, what's the default? It defaults to the image data format found in your Keras, keras.json, which, if we come over here, .keras/keras.json. Yeah, I'm in Theano, image dimension ordering, so that's fine. Got unexpected keyword argument, WS. Is like my Theano too old or something, and you're expecting that I have a newer Theano? That's a possibility. Let's, tell you what, let's try that out. sudo pip3 install theano -- upgrade. Let's see what's going on. That's a little annoying, but I can't blame that if Theano changed their syntax. They'd have to adapt. And it'd be a super big pain in the butt for Keras to have to like constantly check what version of Theano are you using, or whatever backend. I hope I don't break all my SciPy too. That would be irritating. And I doubt I can just import Theano and get the right one. Highly doubt that, yeah. Alright, let me kill that. Start a new one. And let's see if I can still do this. Do this, get my number phrases going. Got my favorite random seed. Read in all my data. Takes just a little bit of time. Always doing that. There we go. Okay, now we're back here. Oh, maybe that was a Theano thing it was warning me about. Yeah, that's still there. Alright. Still broken. Alright, that's odd. So now I'm wondering what's broken about Theano. I've updated my Theano, I've updated my Keras. But Theano is not happy about some things that it's getting from Keras. Turn on the Python debugger. Mode equals max. Where am I? Data format equals self.data format. What is self.data format? Channels last. Yes. That's in Keras. That makes sense. How can that be the line I'm on? That doesn't make sense. Self.add loss. Oh boy. To list inputs. What are inputs here? LMY. So that's some Theano thing. Down. Down. Data formats. Channels last, down. Pad. Pad is nothing. Okay. Mode shouldn't have anything. Yep, that's good. Down. No 720p on the question? No, my internet connection is terrible. And most of the time you're just looking at text. Hopefully it's not too bad. Should generally be legible, like on my testing screen. I apologize if it's not as readable to most. So what? We're on the newest frame. What is the glitch around here? So I gotta look at a little bit of Python debugger magic to see how much information I can get. Python debugger, show context. That's more. That's what I want. Show more lines of context. Type L into PD, show a few more lines in the current context. L. There we go. Okay. Pool out. Pool.pool2d. WS equals pool size. And this is in Keras, right? But of course, if you're in pool.pool2d, invalid syntax. What if I help? Help of pool.pool2d. Can I do that? Nope. No help for this. Alright, so Theano, pool2d. Downsample. That is kind of the thing. Pool2d ds. Is this just a typo? Factor by which to downscale. Vertical ds, horizontal ds. I mean, it's in here and it's in here. When did that change? Let me see. GitHub. GitHub Theano. Are they on GitHub? I really hope so. Updated 11 days ago. Let's see what incompatible changes we can find. And this is in, where is this? Oh boy. Debugging live. Tensor signal pool, pool 2D. So Theano, tensor, signal, pool. And what line am I on? Oh boy. Pool 2D. Let's just search here. Pool 2D. There we go. Pool 2D. Here we go. That says WS. So why does this say... Oh, there's... No, sorry. There's WS and there's DS. Those are different things. This says DS. This says WS there first. Well, that's strange. 0.8. Is this just an old release? Oh, I see. This is the dev. Hang on. Not branch master. 8.x maybe? Oh boy. Pool 2D. Yes, so this one says DS, does not have a WS on the 8.x line. Which is this, which is probably import Theano dot version 0.8.2. Okay. So I just updated my Theano, but I have to see if there's actually a newer, if I can go to 0.9. That's probably, I think that's reasonable. Be what they're trying to do. Yes, in 0.9 you do get this WS parameter. Factor by which to downscale. So what is DS? Is DS just deprecated? Use WS instead. Okay. So DS is the new thing. My Theano was old, but trying to update it, it apparently did not actually update it. So what's the deal? Theano, bye-bye. It says it's here. Is 0.9 not officially optimizing compiler? Apparently it's the most recent business. Sudo pip3 install Theano -- upgrade. Yes. Why don't you do that? Requirement already up to date. Really? Alright, tell you what. Pip3 uninstall Theano. And then we'll reinstall it. Yep, make it happen. And then now we'll install the most recent one. We'll see what it says. So I guess we installed... so I gotta install like the dev version of Theano or something? Well, not the dev version, but I have to install version 0.9 at least. Alright, so I gotta remember how to do that in pip version. Yep, there we go. No, I don't want to see the version. I want to install a specific version. The newest available version. Process is recursive. I want a specific version. Pip only finds stable version. Includes pre-release and development versions. Okay, so I just add -- pre. So we will install a development version of Theano. There we go. 0.9.0.rc4. So Keras 2.0 is made to work with the soon to be released, I imagine, since we're on release candidate 4 version of Theano. But I didn't know that going into this. So I've updated my Theano. So I have no idea what's going to break anymore. There could be oodles of things breaking. That was fast. I like that. That had nothing to do with Theano, but that was fast. Oh, that might be faster sci-fi. That might be what that is. Okay. So far, though, most things that have changed have not caused me great headache. And having to update my Theano... Whoa! Something's not happy. Oh, great. Now my Theano no longer... It complains about CUDA. So I can deal with that later. I will need to fix it not having CUDA And that's really irritating that it forgets about that, but that's not Keras' fault. I imported my metrics. All this jazz. Okay. Now let's just see if this works. It'll be slow as all heck because it's no longer operating on the GPU. CUDA is installed, but device is not available. Lies! Lies, Theano! Max pooling worked. Dropout worked. Flatten doesn't work. Make sure to complete input shape or batch input shape argument to the first layer of the model. I did those things. Model.summary. Let's see what we got. Total params. I don't know why total params is a float. That's weird to me. Trainable params, non-trainable params. Okay, interesting. I have 0 channels? That's an interesting way of considering that. Did this layer change how it works here? Max pooling 2D. I suspect that's what the problem here is. Dual integer size, 2 or more integers. No, that's not right at all. Hang on. Hang on, pal. Did I not run my 1.16.4? What? Did I not use con2d right? It's entirely possible I didn't. That would be a significant change. Filters, kernel size. An integer or tuple list of 2 integers, specifying the width and height of the 2D convolution window. Can be single integers, specify the same value for all spatial dimensions. Yeah, that's normal. Maybe I skipped something somewhere. Do this, and this. So, I'm outputting 4 channels, and padding says same, so whatever input shape you get, which is n rows by n columns, n rows, n cols, I should have the same output shape. And so I should have 4, 16, 16 after doing this, whatever this thing is. So model.summary. So this is strange. This is very strange to me. I feel like this is not the right output shape. Not at all. Does it assume I'm working on squares? Because that would be irritating, because I'm not working on squares, and I don't always work on squares. Okay. Convolve layer input to produce a tensor of outputs. If use bias is true, yada 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 yada. If activation is not, none is applied to the outputs as well. Channels last, input shape, whatever. Channels are supposed to come last, yes. Channels are supposed to come last. I put the channels first. I thought Theano was... Theano channels last? First? Only supports input whose shape is even on last dimension. You know what? Let me... Keras. Keras channels last. Ugh. Channels underscore last. There we go. Exception. That's something else. That's something else. Oh boy. Convolutional layers. Let's check this. Check the official documentation. Channels last. Channels last is the default, or channels first. Corresponds to this. The ordinary dimensions of the inputs. Channels last corresponds to inputs with shape. So yeah, I definitely have channels first. Defaults to image data format value in... Oh, you know what? That's a change. It's no longer... I know what the problem is. It's no longer image dim ordering. It's now image data format. And I bet I need to say channels last. There we go. Don't I? If you never said it, then it will be channels. And I don't want channels last, I want channels first. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I need to kill this and import Keras again. Let me do that. One more time. Just one more time. auto indent. Okay. Grab all this junk. I love that I have a faster SciPy. That's just fantastic. That's super good. How many phrases? Or maybe it's better HDF5, I don't even know. Read in my data, do this stuff. Get Keras to yell at me. Because I don't have CUDA, even though I do. Yeah, I'll have to investigate. No, that's interesting. Did I spell... I spelled it channel first. Channels. Dang it! There. Alright. There we go. Okay. It's going to import the auto backend and then yell at me, claim it doesn't have CUDA even though it does, and then we'll do this stuff. Alright, let's get back to this model then. So now that I properly have channels last, so now if I say model.summary, there you go. Now I have 4 channels, 16 rows, and 64 columns, as expected. I understand the world is shifting towards TensorFlow, so there's only so much that can be done. And it's no longer yelling at me. There's no warnings at all. Fantastic. Dense. So this is a small convolutional neural network. This is going to take forever to run because it's trying to work on the CPU. Oh, and number of epochs has changed again. Yep. Not a problem. Epochs. There we go. So I'll have to see if I can get my GPU working with this again. That will probably be the last thing I try to do today. I guess let's see if this will even compile. I never had cuDNN working. So there's a bunch of other changes that have happened as well. Again, this blog post seems to be a pretty decent list of things that are the biggest things you're going to run into changing. But yeah, if there was a changelog, and if there is a changelog and I'm not finding it, if someone could point me to that, that would be awesome. A changelog other than this, that is. So, and I will want to know Theano 0.9 CUDA. Yeah. Sandbox, yeah. Some errors. No, that's not it. Using the GPU. You know, maybe I just need to set some device equals CUDA. Oh! That's all I gotta do? Well, son of a gun. That's easy to change. So, in Theano, just total aside, it used to be that you set your specific GPU. Now apparently you just say CUDA. Which is interesting. Old CUDA backend will be deprecated soon in favor of the new libGPU array backend. Interesting. As well as NVIDIA cards GPU array backend. That only supports NVIDIA cards CUDA backend. Well, I might get burned when they make this switch to GPU array. So this is taking approximately forever. I'm going to let it finish one epoch, because I do not have patience for that. So again, that's not Keras' fault. And I get that you're working really hard, you want to release, so you base it on Theano, the next release candidate. That makes sense. Okay, come on. That wasn't actually all that horrendously slow either. I wonder if there's something so stupid simple that I can change to get my TensorFlow working. My TensorFlow GPU working, that is. We might try that next. Because apparently today's the day when I just, you know, update all kinds of my, update a lot of my software. Oh no, we were not doing, I don't have time for 2 epochs, man. Nobody got time for that. Nobody. I'm on TensorFlow 1.0. That got updated because of Keras, which is a little odd, but whatever. That's taking a good long time. Oh, and it was done. Okay, fantastic. So, these are what some of the convolutional filters look like. And they look so funky. But that's a lie. That is definitely a lie, 100%. Why is it being like this? So yeah, something funky's going on there. Because W1 shape is 5 by 5 by 1 by 4. Wait, did this output in a weird format? Model.get weights. Yeah, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Because, yeah, it changed the weights come out in a different shape now, which is kind of annoying. It's putting channel last. Channel. That is frustrating. I wish it would have stayed with however I specified the layer to begin with. However, or whatever my default setting is. So that's annoying. I don't like that. Get weight should also follow your image dimension ordering syntax. In fact, model.get weights, that has to be some encoding earlier based on the layer. Layers equals legacy if legacy models.needs legacy support. Interesting. Return weights. Return self.model.get weights. Model.get weights. See if I can just do this. Make this junk. A 0.shape. Yeah. So that's something that is different. So I don't need the legacy support here. But that's irritating. But I mean, alright, so there's one layer of indirection here. Model.get weights. Yeah, cute. 4 layer in self.wheres. Model.layers.weights. Model.layers of 0.weights. Let's try that. conv2d/kernel. Okay. From Keras.backend import. Okay, is that a thing? Import T. Yeah, so T is my backend in this case. T.batch. Nope. Ugh. Backend import. Okay. No, can't do that. Oh, jeez. So the question is, why is it giving me the things, whatever this batch get value business is? Alright, let me just import Keras.backend. Keras.backend. This might be an actual bug. Dot update, add, tile, transpose, which is pretty esoteric, I'll admit. But if you're using Theano or some arbitrary system, it might not have the same dimension ordering as TensorFlow, and that's gonna burn a lot of people. .t soft sign. It's not that. Keras.k, is that just a thing? No. Alright. Keras K backend. This is just part of the built-in. Oh boy, oh boy. Capital K. I don't want too much case. From Keras, import backend as K. Okay. So, Keras.backend .batch. Batch get value, I think. And what the heck was I trying to get the value of anymore? That's probably lose track of these things. Of this stuff. You pass in get your weights. And you add it. So it's this bit. So the first thing of this. There we go. Oh no, you get it from all of them. Okay. So let's do that. Dot shape. Alright, so yeah, that definitely does the strange things. What is this? Returns a value of more than one tensor variable as a list of numpy arrays. Show me more. Turn get value x for xs. What is get value in this case? Where does it come from? And all it is really a list comprehension. Alright, well. It says Theano backend. So that's to me very strange. Is Theano changing how it's doing these things? Could be. Could be. Get value. Return x dot get value. Oh, well, yeah, cute. Well, that's fantastic. Yes, I love that. So this thing, the first one, dot get value, should have a thing, right? Alright, let me save this off. And now we're doing debugging in, there we go. Get value. There we go. Let me kill this. So now we're deep into Theano. Get the non-symbolic value associated with shared variable. Yes, this is, in theory, this is Theano's fault. So why is it that shape? Did I used to transpose things? Alright, so I'm knee-deep in Theano, and I don't think I need to be doing that anymore. This is not Keras' fault, I've definitely determined. I just find it strange how Theano is returning the shapes. And that is going to mess me up as well, which is irritating. But that's a Theano thing, not a Keras thing. Alright, I think that's probably all I'm going to look at for now. Most of the Keras stuff runs just fine. I had to update my Theano, and that is leading to other issues as well. Maybe with TensorFlow, it being natively integrated, it will work a little bit better. And again, in the future, TensorFlow 1.2. But that was Keras 2.0. So far, it seems okay. I don't have anything to complain about. I haven't noticed it yet that it's faster or slower because my GPU got hosed by these other changes. So I'm looking forward to using it more in the future. And even if it mucks with a little bit with my API stuff right now. And again, I appreciate that it throws a lot of warnings mainly. Just saying, hey, these things are going to be changing. So that is all we have for tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out, as always. And if you just started seeing the show for the first time, thanks for coming out. If you're a long-time viewer, hey, also, thanks for sticking with me. All right, have a good night, folks. Don't forget, stay safe in the data mines.